Okay, so this video is to help one of my trainees with some specific problems that she's having when she's driving. We've been talking about various issues when you're driving the bus, and although I've tailored it to her needs, I'm sure everybody watching this will benefit. Yeah? So the first thing I want to talk about is the difference between an experienced driver and someone who's not so experienced, because like anything in life, experience makes a difference. And one of the things we look for when we do the driving prelims in the van, we look for certain things that tell us how experienced somebody is. One of the things is whether the driver leans with the vehicle. If you watch a learner driving, when they steer around a corner, they tend not to lean. And if you've ridden a motorcycle, you understand that it's natural to lean into the corner. So that's one thing that experienced drivers do. The other thing they do is they tend to sit braced, so they literally, the muscles in their body will tend to brace before they press the brake pedal. A lot of learner drivers will actually brake and they'll fall onto the steering wheel sometimes, or they'll move forward. They won't move with the vehicle. Probably the biggest difference is peripheral vision. A learner driver can generally only see what's directly in front of them, what they're looking at, and with experienced drivers, they use their peripheral vision a lot more. One example of that is when you're learning to drive a bus, learners will tend to look in the left mirror all the time to position the vehicle against the curb. That means they're not seeing things that are happening in front of them, and they're not seeing things that are developing on the opposite side of the road. You know, somebody may run out, there might be a parked vehicle where the door opens, and they're just not seeing that because they're dwelling on the left mirror all the time. So with peripheral vision, it's the ability to look straight ahead of you, read the road, and in the corner of your eyes, just see what's developing on both sides. Also depth of vision, that comes with experience as well. Learners tend to see the problem, and experienced drivers tend to see the solution. So with an experienced driver, when they come around a corner and they see a vehicle coming towards them, or they see a parked vehicle, they're immediately thinking about how to position their vehicle, about slowing down and how to get through. Whereas a learner driver comes around the corner, sees the problem and wants to stop. And that's why I say so much of the time, try not to stop, try and slow the vehicle down and keep crawling. It's far more efficient. We don't really see with our eyes, we see with our brain. So with experience, if there's a blind corner coming up, you know when you get around that corner, there might be a vehicle parked on your side of the road. There could be a vehicle parked on the opposite side of the road, which is going to force the oncoming traffic into your side of the road. So even though the problem isn't on your side of the road, you've still got to deal with it, because it means the oncoming vehicle is going to make you brake. You may have to move over and help them out. Yeah? So experienced drivers see the problem before they go into the corner. A learner will get around the corner, see the problem, and then again tend to panic and want to stop. Yeah? So we see with our brain, we don't see with our eyes. The eyes can only see so far. The brain can imagine what's coming much, much further. Yeah? Right, a couple of other things. Blending the controls. When you're driving, you're only really doing two things. You're either moving left or right, slowing down or speeding up. Yeah? There's only two dimensions in which you're controlling the vehicle. Flying a plane or helicopter is different. You're controlling it in 4 or 5 dimensions. It's the ability to blend these two controls that makes the difference between an experienced driver and a learner. Learners tend to suffer from something called cross-coupling. So for example, on the bus, because there are lots of tight corners and there's lots of steering to be done, when they're steering, especially around a tight corner, they will tend to tug the wheel, and when they do that, their braking starts to suffer. They start pumping the brake pedal, so their braking becomes very sharp, and you'll normally see them tug the wheel and stamp the brake pedal as well. Or when they're steering around a corner and straightening up, they'll tend to straighten and hit the gas pedal rather than bringing the gas in smoothly. And that's what we call cross-coupling. It's a bit like, I don't know, rubbing your tummy and patting your head at the same time. You've got to be able to do both things, and learners can't do that as well as experienced drivers. Experienced drivers blend the controls a lot better.